This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome back to another episode of the FXBG Neighbors Podcast, where we share the stories of our favorite local brands. I have a special guest joining me today. We've got Phoebe Kenny. She is the founder and board president of KENCO Technical Assistance and Training Solutions. Phoebe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm excited to dive in and learn more about you and about your business. So tell us all about KENCO Technical Assistance and Training Solutions.
Great. So KENCO TATS, we call it for short, is actually a nonprofit located in Stafford, Virginia, serving the DC metro area. And we are specifically focused on educating, empowering, and encouraging the next generation of supply chain management professionals, as well as providing scholarship opportunities for the next generation, as well as current supply chain management professionals who are looking to get professional certifications or further their educations with master's certificates and so on.
Amazing.
And we focus on women, minorities, and veterans specifically.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So I love this so much. It's probably kind of a niche thing, but clearly there's a big need for it.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So it is very niche. We started in 2021. I myself have 20 years experience in supply chain. And the reality is that when I started to get into more of corporate America with supply chain, I started to notice that there was, not many women at the table, not many veterans, and their voices weren't heard at the table. And so I started to wonder, what can I do with my network? Because I do have a pretty global network because my career has allowed me to travel to Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, multiple cities throughout the United States. And what I found out when, during COVID, we had a lot of time to do research. So what I found out was that, for example, with veterans, there are less than 5% veterans who realize a career in supply chain management. But when you think about it, veterans are doing logistics in the military all the time. And this would be a wonderful transition for them, but they just don't know what opportunities are there. When it comes to women, there are some voices at the table, around 40% with the latest data. But of that 40%, less than 30 are management, and less than that are in the C-suite. And minorities is a little bit larger. There is almost 50% in the field, but still only 7%, for example, are Black women, and less than that are in management. So I just wanted to say that there's a lot of people retiring soon, and who's going to fill that gap? So we're looking to, again, find those next generation supply chain management professionals, provide them with networking opportunities locally, and then, of course, where they need educational help, provide them with scholarships. So those are the things that we're doing in the community.
Amazing. So how are you finding people, or how are people finding you? What's working for you getting the word out?
Yeah. So, podcasts like this. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
But also, again, I do have a 20-year career in supply chain, and luckily I have a pretty big network that I'm able to tap into via social media, but also doing my own networking. So going to other supply chain events or other public health events, because my career did start in global health with programs that were funded by USAID, for example. So I have, a lot of community within the USAID network space, a lot of, public health space. So I've been pretty blessed with the network that I have, and they've been super supportive. We are only 5 years old, but in that 5 years, we've been able to have a pretty, a nice following on social media, but also we've been able to provide scholarships within the first 3 years. And we're doing our second year of scholarships this year. So it's been such a blessing to have that support from the community.
Amazing. Amazing. So, do you find that there are any myths or misconceptions about either the industry or about what you're doing?
Yes. I think the biggest
Yeah.
myth is that it's boring. It's that it's day to day. It's that there's nothing exciting about supply chain, or that it's all logistics. So thinking about trucking or transportation, but there's so much more that a career in supply chain management can provide. For example, I started off in subcontracts or contracts for services, but I've also been able to do logistics. I've also been able to do capacity development and training. My background, for example, is in education. I thought I was going to be a teacher, but I've been able to transfer those soft skills to do training and capacity development, and not only in the US, but also globally. So I've been able to, you know, um, travel the world. So it's not just me sitting in an office in the DC metro area. I'm able to see the world, meet people. I'm able to work with manufacturers, other suppliers, provide capacity development for them. Also, some warehouse management. And what's most relevant now is looking at digital transformation. So, looking at how we can responsibly use things like AI to predict things to mitigate risk. So it's very exciting. Someone who's into computers can also get into supply chain management. I have a friend who started her career in hospitality, who's now in a flourishing career in subcontracts management. So you never understand where, or it's hard to understand sometimes, where you can use your soft skills in supply chain management. But if you're able to manage relationships with people, do negotiations, read contracts, this is the field for you.
Amazing. So, someone doesn't necessarily have to have direct experience. They could have a related, transferable experience and still do well in a career like this.
Absolutely. Today, C-suites are prioritizing supply chain. And the main reason they're prioritizing it is because when you have a well-functioning, efficient supply chain department, your organization is profitable. So they hit that profit, in a huge way. So again, if you're able to manage contracts, if you're able to look at how we can mitigate risk in organizations. If you're able to work with people, then there's a career here for you. Again, I thought I was going to be a teacher. So
Yeah.
here I am 20 years later with a very wonderful career in supply chain management.
Amazing. Amazing. So you're clearly very busy. So
I
my question is more on the personal side.
am.
When you're not busy at work, what are you doing for fun?
So, when I'm in the United States, so my husband actually lives and works in Uganda. So I actually
Oh, wow.
spend 6 months of my time in Uganda, which is nice because I have a community there in supply chain. So I'm able to work and network while I'm there. And when I'm in the United States, I spend a lot of my time with family. We're from Virginia. So it's very nice to go out to restaurants, for example, in downtown Fredericksburg. When the weather's nice, walk downtown Fredericksburg, stop in, have lunch, do some shopping, some window shopping. Um, and I also, when I'm not with family, I love to dance. So
Oh.
dancing is something that brings me much joy. um, so, mostly like salsa, bachata, merengue, things like that. So, yeah, those are the things that I do prioritize logging off. It's hard, but
Mm-hmm.
I do prioritize it because, you can get busy and the days can slip away very quickly. And before you know it, you've just, you've lost that personal time. So I think it's important to take that time for yourself.
Great lesson. Absolutely. So if listeners, since you're a nonprofit, if listeners want to support the mission, what are some ways that people can get involved?
One, I would encourage everyone to visit our website, which is www.KENCOTATS, KENCOTATS.org, to understand our mission. And if it's in alignment, then, come visit us. We hold networking sessions throughout Fredericksburg and Stafford area. We sometimes venture to Arlington, but we're trying to build our network here in the Fredericksburg area. But also, the website has information on how you can donate, of course, because we are a nonprofit. And finally, if you know any students out there, again, undergrad, graduate, continuing education professionals, there is information about our scholarships on that website. So we're always looking for applications, to receive applications. We're awarding one now, but we will be rolling again into the fall scholarship application process. So I'm excited to read those essays and be able to provide those opportunities for future generation of supply chain management professionals.
Amazing. Well, I absolutely love what you're doing. And Phoebe, I appreciate you being my guest today and sharing KENCO TATS with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on. Sorry. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com.